I reckon I call you once a month for a little father-son talk and a pat on the back. It's a crazy feeling. I can't explain it. Probably the most vulnerable you could ever be. It's like a game of chess, but it hurts. I'm just setting the standard for what I accept. It has to be a relationship. It can't be one-sided.
Seriously, so proud of what you're achieving. It's friggin' awesome. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of A Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. This one is going to be a cracker because we've got young Shane Steele back here. How are you, mate?
Not so young anymore.
Oh, come on, mate. You're still young. But we're going to be talking everything today about house raising, team building, gear getting knocked off, and a bit of fighting.
And the rest, yeah.
So what's been happening, mate? You've been on before and you're keen to come back because I don't even know, Shay, what's it been like? It's a bit over, probably a bit over a year, but
might even be 18 months. It'd be 2 years nearly. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say it'd be 2 years. Yeah.
So you've had a lot of shit going on in that time.
Yeah, we've been flat out.
You've been doing a lot, mate.
Yeah.
Like you're a quiet achiever. So you wanted to come back because you've achieved a lot and you're always growing. You and I have a lot of conversations.
I reckon I call you once a month for a little father-son talk and a pat on the back.
I get a lot out of our chats as well. Like I've definitely learnt some stuff off you, mate. It doesn't go all one way, but like I guess to start with, I'd like to jump into you're a house raiser. So in other parts of Australia and the world where people are listening to this podcast, like there's places where they don't do what
house
we do
raising,
here.
yep.
But you've just gone, like you've taken it next level. Like for someone as young as you to think outside the box and do what you've done. So for people that are listening that maybe don't know about house raising, here in Brisbane, Queensland, we lift a lot of houses and we move a lot of houses, and we've got a lot of old timber structures, and these guys come in, bring all their styres and their steel in, their machines and stuff. We jack the house up, we dig out underneath it, put a new structural steel, and then basically build one level underneath. But you've taken it to another level because now you're lifting houses 3 stories and you've developed these trusses that are holding them up in the air.
Yeah, well, like during the pandemic, I suppose, as it started to ease off a bit and a lot more people started to move to Brisbane. Obviously, we've got a big influx of people moving here. I started noticing these basement dig jobs come across my desk, and maybe 5 years ago when I first started, one would come across my desk a year. I'd price it whether I won the job, like maybe 1 or 2 basements would be getting done in Brisbane for these houses, you know. And obviously, I guess as people are selling their houses down in Bondi for X amount of money, buying a house in Hamilton up here for a quarter of the price, that's when we started. I don't know if that's the exact trend, but I would like to think that that's sort of how it started.
Well, people are wanting bigger houses, aren't they?
That's
they
exactly
want bigger
right.
houses on the same size box of land, and the only way to get bigger houses is to add another level.
That's exactly right. And of the couple basements I've done, I've noticed a lot of them have been from Sydney or Melbourne, actually, like the people, because you talk to them when you do the house. And traditionally, when you do like a basement dig or a massive dig out, I seen one on the news and I was like, oh, that's a bit precarious of a basement dig that another house raiser did, and I won't talk on that too much. But I did one, and as you dig down, you've got to, obviously you got the sphere of influence when you dig in beside your stacks. You don't want them all to cave into so as you dig down, you've got to back prop the house, drop the stack, dig where the stack is, rebuild the stack with more blocks.
It's very time consuming.
And then because you're in underneath a house, digging around stacks and that sort of stuff, you can only use a small machine. So
everything takes longer.
Everything takes longer. I've got to come back fucking 40 times. Yeah, and then like might be halfway through raising another house, but you're paying $140 an hour. So you want your stacks reset now, and you can't really be in 2 places at once. And because of COVID, we were so busy. It just was like undoable sometimes, you know what I mean? And I like to manage expectations and not let people down. So that was one big thing. Saving money on the earthworks was another big thing. Probably the third thing was when you put an 8 meter stump in the ground, it's obviously with the basement, it's all going in block work or that AFS stuff, or if let's say over a 2 meter level, it's 3 mil out of plumb, which isn't hard to do by eye, you know. By the time you get a 8 meter long stump, by the time you get to the bottom, like to make it fit in the block work. So we're running around like blue ice fly, running string lines and stuff while we're pouring to try and make sure everything's straight.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're that high in the air, and like even just trying to get an 8 or 9 metre length of steel that's straight.
That's exactly right. And then we're doing them on 405 blocks with 500 mil to the boundary each side. I don't want to climb up a 6 metre stack and try and move the house 5 mil. You know, how do you write that into your swims or whatever? And then 9 times out of 10, the bottom level walls, it's a car park. It doesn't line up. So then you have to cut the posts out of the basement, and it just looks shit. Like people are spending big money getting all these off-form slabs done. So I actually, I got jack of it, and I sort of I jumped on Instagram, and there's a bloke over in New Zealand called Auckland House Lifters that I was chatting to him for a bit, and he gave me a bit of insight into how they do it, because they use a pretty similar system over there. And then probably the craziest thing was like looking at the Yanks, man.
Oh man, they move whole brick buildings.
I'm there like whinging about a fella leaving a piano in their house, and they've got like fucking 3-story houses up on 4 stacks and stuff, you know, which is with massive steels. So I was talking to a guy in America as well, and I said, do you mind sending me over some plans? Like, it's not like I'm gonna come and pinch your work in New Jersey, you know. And he sent me some plans, but they're all in Imperial, so I'm fucking scratching my head. And then I ended up getting some designed. I fabricated them myself and paid for it to all get tested. And I've got some friends, M&E Cranes, that sort of let me use their yard and all the counterweights off their cranes, and we loaded up the trusses and tested them to failure. So it was bittersweet, because it was cool that I think that we had 50 mil deflection with putting 10 ton in the dead center of a 13.5 meter span, which like a gutted Queenslander probably wouldn't weigh much more than 10 ton itself. But then obviously you always want to go see what it can actually do. So, and we ended up putting 15 ton on it, and then it fucking blew it to pieces. So, you know, I spent like a month building them just to destroy them, you know, and it was sort of up in the air whether they actually would hold that sort of stuff, you know. And then, so once we did that, I was pretty confident in it, but
an engineer in the end signed off on
an engineer drew them up.
Yeah.
Well, I drew them up. An engineer changed my sizes, and we had a bit of an argument, like a few back and forths on how I wanted them done. But and in the end, he got them engineered. He engineered them, and we tested them. Yeah. Tested them to failure, and they sort of overperformed, which I was real happy about. And
so I guess to tie it all up, what Shane's talking to, like when we lift a house, it's a lot of backwards and forwards. You're temporarily propping everything, and then when you go through stories, you're quite often moving shit around multiple times. Whereas now his new system, they basically come in, put these big steel trusses from side to side plus some, lift them up 3 stories in the house with the styres on the outside of the house, and it's all freestanding.
It's all freestanding. You can. I actually had a 15 tonner under my last job doing an under house dig out, which, like, if I told you that 5 years ago, you'd fucking call me crazy. And then,
because the other thing with that is, like, the suburbs that this type of stuff's happening in is generally shit soil.
Yeah.
And it's quite rocky. So
correct.
In the old way, and we've also done it where you've slid the house off and pissed it off to the back of the block, done all your work, and then slid it forward again. And like, that's not always achievable as well.
That's exactly right. And especially on these tight blocks, people want more square meterage on it. Like, we're doing one in Tenerife at the moment, and it's like there's no room. And the other thing as well is,
But getting a bigger machine there, you can get through if you hit the rock, like Tenerife, there's a lot of that porphyry rock and stuff. Like you're flat out digging the shit out with a 80-ton excavator. Like,
yeah, that's exactly right.
The bigger machine you can get in, the quicker it's done, the more efficient it is. So you're saving money.
That's exactly right. And then also, when it's so high, you can't make adjustments after the fact. The biggest thing I hate is callbacks, I suppose, same with anyone. With our new system, it sets it outside the house. You pour your off-form concrete slab, flick out your walls. Like, you can never put a post in the wrong spot again or like everything, it's so easy, you know what I mean? Compared to like trying to set out a house 6 meters in the air and then, you know, then cut posts out later because obviously the house needs to hold up, but the frames aren't, you know what I mean? So it just makes things 10 times easier.
I think it's brilliant, mate. But like, not only is the system brilliant and it's more efficient and it in the long run, it's saving people money and it's producing a far better product. Like, I just take my hat off you for thinking outside the box. Like, you could have just kept doing it the way you're doing it, but to get like any business to do well and remain busy and constantly perform, be profitable, all those things, you've got to be constantly being initiative, like or not initiative, being innovative and coming up with new ways to improve the industry.
Yeah, well, to wind that back, I've like originally we had a structural steel company that we used to buy our steel off, and they dick me around, and it pushed me to the point where I had to start. So you got to be careful not to do that to builders, because obviously you want the repeat work. So yeah, I always try and make life easier because the other thing as well, if you're advertising to do work and you're advertising that you do house raises, essentially you're advertising for me. Like, when it comes down to it, you're doing half the groundwork for me. You know what I mean? Every job I have quoted for you, I've done.
Yeah, because we don't get anyone else to price it, mate.
But what I'm saying, well, that's
you do a good job, so we get you back.
But that's exactly right. But what I'm saying is, like, essentially, like you spend a lot of money on your brand, and same with a lot of other builders that I do work for. They spend big money on marketing and that sort of stuff. And
it's what but I want to point out, like, I appreciate that as a subby you pick up on that, because a lot of subbies out there don't realise that if it wasn't for the builders just feeding, like, builders feed subbies work. Like, if you're a subby, you do good work, you look after the builder, you turn up on time, you keep your pricing sharp, like, you literally are guaranteed work. But if you fuck the builder around, you don't do a good job, he's got to be following you up all the time, you're always rooting around on your pricing, all that type of stuff, you're not going to build that relationship, you're not going to get repeat work. Like, so I think it's really important for subbies. Like, I did the same as you when I was a subby. Like, my number one goal was always making sure that the builder was happy.
Yeah, and look, as businesses get bigger and stuff, there's been times when I haven't put my best foot forward on jobs, but I always try my very best. You know what I mean? And that's where it sort of come into it. There was a house that was designed that for this job. There was a specific house I wanted to do them for, because it was just like, there's no other way to do it. It was just crazy. It was shit soil. Like, I just couldn't think of a way to do it. And then that's when I jumped online and sort of, and now we're doing it. It's the thing about innovation is, like, if I looked at those jobs when I first started my business, I'd just be like, fucking, like, I'd be so blown away. You know what I mean? But if you just take steps every day to try and get a little bit better, if you look back over 5 years, it's like, holy fuck, like, look what we're doing now. You know what I mean? And
oh, mate, you've come such a long way. Like, I remember from when we had the conversation last time you were on the podcast. Like, when you rang me, you'd only just started out, and you told me you'd been doing it for ages.
Yeah, and look, I had been doing it for ages, working for my parents, but yeah. So I was probably a year or two in when I come and did my first job for you.
But it's important, like, it doesn't matter at what level, it's all about the relationship, isn't it? Like, for me, it's about the relationship I build with my clients, and then it's just important for me to build a relationship with my subbies. And like, the fact that you take that seriously really is another reason why you continue to do our work. Like,
and if you pick up, say, 10 or 20 good builders that always pay the bill, do you know what I mean? Like I send you a bill. If I send you one Wednesday night, it gets paid the following Wednesday. If I send you one Friday night, it gets paid on Wednesday. It's like, I'm an employee essentially, you know what I mean? And that's got to stand for something, because I actually don't really like doing, a lot of client jobs where they're like own a builder or whatnot. It's not even worth the extra 20% that I would charge, like, in theory, a builder's margin, because then I'm like chasing up the surveyor. Oh, there's no site toilet. Oh, like, it's, if I can just rock up to a job, and you probably take it another step, and I have a few builders in that same category where they set the posts out before we get there. I can just rock up and just do my job and fuck off. Like, it's so easy. Do you know what I mean? You just punch the ticket and...
Well, I've just always been, even when I was a contractor, mate, everything has always been about, you have to think of the other trades. And like, something that happens a lot in our industry now is no one gives a fuck about anybody else. All they think about is what they're doing when they're there. And like, I know you're the same, because you're always, when you do your earthworks and stuff, like, I know you ring me, you check on heights, and you're asking, where do I need to dig? Or we have a conversation on site. Like, everyone's working towards the best outcome for everybody. And like, we see it from our sites, like, our sites run very efficiently, and all of our trades all get on well together because everyone's always looking after each other. It's something that just should happen, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I can't speak for other people, but I just, and maybe there's a little bit of an ego thing. I like, and same with the trusses and stuff, like we're the only people doing it. I like when people can't match your energy. Do you know what I mean? When I can sit there and say, I'd like to think I am the best house raiser getting around. But if you are that way inclined, you got to put your money where your mouth is and actually be the best house raiser getting around. Do you know what I mean? So I like doing a good job. I like thinking that we do a better job than other people. And not to say like we're better people or anything like that, but if you genuinely strive,
you're striving for excellence.
If you strive for 0, you still fuck 5% of shit up. And if you don't care, I don't even know what that'd be. Number would be astronomical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so where's the drive? Like the last podcast we spoke a bit about, like you wanted to impress your grandfather because you always looked up to him and stuff. So like, I feel like even since the last time you've been on the podcast, because we do have our regular chats, like you just keep growing. Like so many, like there'd be a lot of trades your age, like you only turned 28 a month or so ago, that just aren't as committed. They're not putting in the effort. They're not striving for excellence. They're not trying to be the best. Like, but it's got to come from somewhere.
I honestly, I don't know where, but like if I didn't,
Well, what makes you get out of bed every day and go, fuck, I want to be better than I was yesterday?
I've actually never asked myself that question, I guess.
But you push hard. You ring me quite a lot and like want to run things by me and stuff, and we have conversations about things. So you're obviously constantly thinking about improving things. I
just fucking hate inefficiency in anywhere in my life. Like I hate things being hard, and so if it's easy, it's good. You know,
And so learning makes it easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like that. That's probably.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Learning improves it, but the more you learn, the more you grow.
And you can implicate those things.
Yeah, you can implement them, and everything feels like it's become easier because you're growing as a person. So stress, you feel like you're not the stress, but it's just that you've learned to handle the stress. You feel like your team's better, but you've learned how to manage the team better. Like,
and then you can load up with more stress because you're doing more things.
Yeah,
I've always, I reckon I would have ADD, maybe undiagnosed or whatever, because I just lay in bed at night and just think, what, like, you know what I mean? And the other thing I do, like, I track every one of my jobs, even though I'm only a subby, like, I'll
you're not only a subby, mate. You're running a business.
But when you run, like, it would be a lot harder for you to track a job than it would be for me, because I know, like, my materials are pretty much the same. They're fixed.
I don't think it matters. Like, a builder has a wider range of things to track, but every subby should be tracking things. So what do you track? Like, because I want, the whole idea of this podcast is so people learn how other people run their businesses and improve on it.
On a job, I obviously track the boys' hours per job, and then at the end of the month I look at on a job to job basis because as a general rule of thumb, the margin is the same, and then the ones that where the margin doesn't stack up at the end of the job, I got to ask the questions, what went wrong here?
So do you track it? Do you break it down? Like, because I believe, like, the way I look at it from my perspective is you have, like, if you're not, you should be breaking it into stages, because you have like a stage where you come in and you prepare.
Yep.
And then you have a stage where you come in and set the stacks or the styres and get all your temporary steels in. Then you have a stage where you install the new structural steel. And then you have a stage where you mark out and drill your holes. And then you have a stage where you fit the posts and you can do the concreting.
And that's probably something I could refine as well. I probably don't break it down to that. But 9 times out of 10, I can look at one of those jobs and go, oh, we fucked this up. That's why that happened. Or the profile wasn't installed, so we had the tools down for 3 hours while we waited for the surveyor to come, and that's 9 times out of 10 the ones that don't stack up are for that reason. Is we've either done something incorrectly on site, I've missed something when I've done the quotes, or especially as you get more, like I used to quote the job, type up the quote, send the quote off, then I'd order the material, then I would cut the material so I know what stock lengths. So as you get bigger and you are farming these things out to people, I've had to make processes like when I do the quote, I used to just, I do the quote in my diary, in a diary, and I just do every quote in a diary so I can look back at that in a year's time.
Gotta get on the QuoteEaze. Best quoting software in the business, mate.
I'll have to get onto the QuoteEaze.
But I know what you're talking about, because So yeah, I used to do the same. Like, so if you're doing the takeoff for your steel, so you might be ordering stock lengths of steel, and you've worked out what gets cut out of each length. So do you find yourself, now that you're farming that out, you've now got to write what gets cut out of each stock length?
That's exactly right. And once you break it down, so and now that we do our own steel, so at the back of my shed, I just built a big steel rack so we can have the next 5 jobs racked ready to go. So and ejects and that sort of stuff, it's always like, oh, the gas hasn't been disconnected. We didn't get building approval because the town planner didn't realise that we're encroaching. We like, so all the time it'll be like, oh, we're not ready for you for another, or inclement weather, anything along those lines. So that was the first thing. Was original when I first started, we used to get the steel delivered in the front yard. I remember, out at Wynnum and grind it back and mag drill it and paint it.
Yeah.
And now,
yeah, the first couple of jobs I said to you, like, I think you still rocked up. I was like, fuck, are you going to paint this? And you're like, oh, no, we do it on site. I was like,
and
what are you doing, mate?
And like, you got to start somewhere, obviously, but now
I believed in you, mate.
Yeah, there you go. And so now that goes to the shed, gets primed, drilled, racked, so it's ready, so that, oh, this guy's not ready. There's no downtime. It's no, you just take that day of, oh, fuck, like, I've already got the steel here. We'll just try and work through it and maybe wait a day till the surveyor comes. So
the key to success in making a business more profitable is coming up with solutions for areas that you're not efficient at on site, that are holding up payments, all those types of things. So the way I see it, just from what you're talking about now, is you're just constantly thinking about what held us up on this job, what can we do better next time. But something I talk to my builders in our Live Like Build business all the time about, like, you can't take your foot off the gas. Like, you've got to, you have to have a pipeline of work. And I think you're doing it really, really well from a subby's point of view. Like, you have enough jobs. And I know you do it because you ring me all the time when we have jobs coming up and like, oh, how are you traveling? Oh, I've had this issue on this job, so we might be a week late on your job, whatever. Like, so you're obviously touching base with all your builders, and you're sort of getting an image of where everybody's at so that you can keep your team working. And I think, like, builders need to do that with the jobs we take on. Like, you have to have a big pipeline of work, because you never ever know when a job's going to fall over, whether you're a subby or a builder. Like, you could have 10 jobs fall over tomorrow. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's so sporadic. Do you know what I mean? It's like crazy. My office lady, Lozzie, she's always up my ass. She's like, how can we make this better? And I'm like, we can't, like, we can refine what we do, but that is just construction. Like, that is just the long and the short of it.
There's so many things that are outside of our
control.
Yeah, like, you can't, a client might lose their finance and not be able to get finance. Like you said, there's something might come up right at the last minute with building approval or town planning or something that holds things up. Like, we got a job at the moment where the client, like, we all thought we'd be on site at April, and we were under the pump, and like, if it had to come off, we would have pushed it and made it work. But like, literally right at the last minute, Unity Waters made us stuff up with some of the measurements on the approvals. We've got an easement down the side of the property for a sewer main, and we've got to do a retaining wall there, and no one picked up that the footings on the retaining wall are going to encroach in the easement for the sewer.
Yeah.
So, like, that's literally, that was the April. We're nowhere near starting that job. So you never know. There is so many things outside of your control as a contractor or as a builder. And so you've just got to keep your foot on the gas, don't you? And
that's why the things that are in your control have to be Mickey Mouse to accommodate for how fucked it is when the thing's out of your control.
So how do you manage that, bud? If like, so you got racked with 5-6 jobs sitting in it at the time.
Yep.
How do you manage, like, because I think this is an important thing with, like, cash flow. So you've obviously built your business model around knowing that you need to have a certain amount of stock and a certain amount of stuff sitting on site, because someone could ring up and say, hey, we can't start our job. So you just go and pull another job out and go and move that around. So you've obviously got a lot of money outlaid.
Took me a while to get to that stage. Probably the from day one, the business model I've used, and sometimes it might not be the best for everyone, is I didn't pull a wage for the first 3 years of my business. Like, I owned the property that my business ran out of before I took a wage from the business. I think especially as a young bloke, a lot of young fellas get to their 4th year, they start getting tradie wage, they go buy a Land Cruiser. That stuff inhibits you. Like, your overheads inhibit you from being able to grow, because you've got to shell out X amount of money each week. So it was a long process to get to that point. But the other thing which kind of makes it worthwhile is, especially when you're buying steel from a structural steel firm, like from a manufacturer, if you 75 mil stump steel comes in an 8 meter length. That's the shortest you can buy it if you want to get it at bulk buy from the mill. You know, that's it. So if you were to go buy 3.6 meter posts, they charge you for the 4 meters and they keep that 400 mil. And then that's something they hang on to. When I used to have to buy steel when I went job to job to job, I had to use all that steel on that job or take it back to my mum's, have her blowing up at me before I had a yard. Whereas now I can look through it. Actually, there's that initial cost of having to buy X amount of jobs more. But now when I look 4 jobs in front, and I've actually taught my office lady Loz to do this. And especially as beams get bigger, the short offcuts are shit because
if you don't put a 300 PSC in a 900 opening.
That's what I mean. If it needs to be that big, chances are it's got to span a decent distance. So it's like, we need a 6 on this job, but the smallest beam you can buy is a 9. But we need a 5.5 on this other job. It's like, how about we buy a 12, cut 6,250, 5,750.
Yeah.
Have 250 mil offcut and just rack that. And then so you actually become more efficient. You just got to bite the bullet and have a big steel bill that month. And it didn't start off, it wasn't like I went out and bought 6 jobs. It started off as, we'll get the next 2 jobs in front.
Yeah.
And then the other thing as well is I'd project, I don't want to say my insecurities, I'd project my incompetence on my employees sometimes in the fact that I would be like, we need this fucking steel tomorrow. And then you're paying people to work till all hours of the night, which I work till all hours of the night anyway. But if I was... Everything, my coach tells me, everything shit that happens to you after 18 years old, you let happen to you. Anything bad in your life, it could be your partner playing up on you. You still chose to have her as a partner. You put yourself in that situation. So look inwards when bad things are happening, not outwards. Don't find someone else. Don't blame people because you let that happen to you in some way, shape or form, no matter how small or big it is. So I'd blow up at people about, I had to, we didn't get this done, or I forgot to order the paint. We didn't have enough paint to finish the job. And I'm like, I need it. I need it Monday. It's Friday. I can't get I would have heated discussions with people rather than going, if I wasn't a dickhead and I had that, if I had...
Well, you're not a dickhead. You've got to learn, but I think what comes from that is you've now taken complete ownership and responsibility.
That's exactly right, Yeah. But it even went even further than that. Then we had jobs getting mixed up and that sort of stuff. So what I did was, rather than having a rack where we put all the steel, I color coded all the racks. So there's red, green, blue, and then I got a cut list for the steel that has to go on that rack. Spray painted the back of that clipboard, and there's 6 clipboards on the wall. Yeah. And then everyone signs when they rack it. They sign a sheet to say that they've racked that much, and then when they unrack it, they sign it to say that that's gone on the truck. So then it comes back to looking at jobs. Did I miss the beam on the quote? Did my sister not order it properly? Did the boys cut it wrong on site? Did it not? Is it still in the yard? Once you get
you've created systems.
Once you know every point of the journey, you can pinpoint where things are going wrong and fix that
and improve on it.
And because sometimes, sometimes it's like, oh fuck, I didn't use your quoting app and I forgot that beam, and that's.
But it's all growth, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
But the thing, something I point out a lot now is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So some people just keep putting up with the same shit all the time, day in, day out, instead of doing what you've done and sitting back, having to think about it and taking ownership for it.
That's exactly right. And having, how do I put it? Some people, they'll never quit a job because it's just bearable enough that they can amble on through it, or they'll never break up with a crazy girlfriend because
they whinge about it every single day, but they do nothing about it.
They don't enjoy their lives. But it's just bearable enough that they don't get, change your bearable to this big and go, don't blow up about it and get angry about it, but go, that slightly inconvenienced me. Why is that slightly inconveniencing me? Change that, make your level of bearable be so minute that you have to fix things or you'll go crazy, so to speak,
It is unbelievable, isn't it, what people just continue to put up with? Because they feel that the change will be more difficult than putting up with what they're putting up with.
That's exactly right. And then you go 2 years down the track and it's like, fucking God.
Yeah, I'll just waste another 2 years.
Yeah.
Should have bit the bullet 2 years ago.
Probably one of the biggest things is I poached my little brother. He used to work for my mum and her 2 brothers and he come over to help me out and he's
He's been with you a while, hasn't he?
Probably a year and a half, 2 years now. Yep. But he's worse than I am. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but he's sort of, I guess, I don't want to say rough and tumble, but he's very, like, for instance, he when he was 17, he bought a VX Commodore with the LS1 in it, fully rebuilt the LS1 in his lounge room, you know, and we were going to Queensland Raceway doing the drifts and that sort of stuff. I'll push and get stuff done, and he's very meticulous and that sort of thing. So like he's helped me so much with like probably with working on my car, but also like he enjoys the tedious little shits. I have to actually try really hard to do the tedious things like fixing the trucks and that sort of stuff. It's a stress on my brain. Whereas I love not running into stuff, but I love going hammer and tong and jacking a house up and doing these sorts of stuff. Whereas he'll love to sit back and look at a problem and come up with a complex.
So what's he doing in the business?
So he runs the stumping crew. I do the raises and he stumps the houses.
Yep.
And
so you've found you focus on your strength.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't do that either. Like you've got to figure out what your strengths are and what adds the most, where you and every member of your team add the most value to the business.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And probably the biggest highlight of it for me was we were he just talks like at Smoko, you know what I mean? Like me and the boys will talk about fighting or girls, and he'll be talking about like nuclear fission or I don't even know how to say it, you know? And I'm like he'll talk to me about it to the point where I'm like, man, like just fucking let me have 20 minutes to myself of nothing. Like let me just do nothing for the next 15. Like I hated school. I couldn't sit in the classroom. I can't look at stuff. Like I can fix problems. I've got very good problem solving as things occur, but I couldn't look up how to do something crazy like that and that would take 12 hours of study. Whereas he like when he was building those cars, he's like, oh, I've been on YouTube, you know, like you can use LS7 lifters for this and it, like it's better. And whereas I'm like, oh sweet, let me know when you got it done and we can do it burnout. Like that's so he's
but everybody's different. Like,
that's exactly right. And we sort of complement each other in that way. Like
So how did you feel at school when you did you get shit at school, or did teachers say, like, I got told fucking plenty of times at school that I'll never achieve anything, I'll never be nothing. So
I definitely struggled at school. I think on a lot of my report cards and a lot of teachers I talk to after the fact now sort of say that I was a real good kid who just did stupid shit and even like that's half kids, I reckon. And I like in grade 8 and 9, like I got put in like the class above, I guess it was called like Horizons or something, you know, and then I ended up getting an OP21 just because I'd checked out from year 10. And I sort of regret not doing an apprenticeship earlier because I'd be 3 years further down the line, but you can't whinge about anything that's happened already. But yeah, definitely by grade 11 and 12, I sort of was just there to go out with my mates on the weekends and have a good time. I had some real good teachers in the industrial side of things. Nudgy was really good like that. Like I made like dartboard cabinets, like crazy stuff compared to what kids at public schools. So I'm real fortunate that my mum saved up and sent me there. But yeah, as far as school goes, like I couldn't think of anything worse than going to uni and yeah, like I'd leave shit to the last minute and then do it all the night before and still do all right. But I can't, if I'm not interested in something, it's not.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem with school. Like most people aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
And now you've seen from your passion now and how well you're doing in business, like you're interested in it, you're passionate about it.
And it becomes so easy if it's something you want to do. That's one thing I say to kids. If school isn't your thing, you just got to find your thing. Like, but don't dick around. Find something that you like doing, and even it could be people think that you got to. Even chippies, they think, oh, I've got to go do really high end resi shit to be a millionaire. Like I have to build $1 million houses. You don't have to build $1 million houses. You can do shitty maintenance jobs that no one wants to do, charge a little bit more and get there on time, do a good job.
Yep.
and build that business. You could be a Portaloo guy if you fucking make sure your toilets are the cleanest and they're delivered every day. Like
it doesn't matter what you do, mate. Like that's something that really shits me. Like you get everybody. Like you get builders that whinge they can't make money. You get architects that whinge they can't make money. Like you'll get school teachers. Like you'll get people across, like cafe owners. You'll get everything across every industry. People whinging that they got poorly treated or they didn't make enough money or they get. There's no opportunity, all those types of things, but it's what you make it. Because the flip side of that is like there's architects worth millions of dollars, there's builders worth millions of dollars, there's cafe owners worth millions of dollars. Like there's no excuse. Like at the end of the day, it is completely 100% up to you. And the effort you put in, the like you're doing with your business, like you improve the inefficiencies, you come up with new ideas, you be innovative, like, and you get ahead. Like it's not rocket science. And
I think it's hard. It's hard because how do you? Obviously, you got to choose your words carefully when you say. As a society, we have become more aware of our mental health and these sorts of things. It's hard to not cross that line. And are we making excuses for? Oh,
there's plenty of excuses out there.
When like exactly what you were saying about like the world keeps turning no matter how shit you've been treated. Like, and that's one thing I've found as a business owner with liquidated damages, all that sort of stuff. You can be having a fucking shit day. No one else gives a fuck. Do you like, you're going to wake up tomorrow? So in that moment, you got to choose whether you're going to delay the inevitable for another day or be accountable and go fucking righto, like let's make it happen. You know?
It.
And there's been days like that when I haven't wanted to get out of bed or like, and the quicker you can go from being in that negative mindset to not necessarily even a positive mindset, but just like we're here now, where to from here? Do you know what I mean? I've found myself in this situation. I'm not going to fucking dwell on it. I just need to find the best way out.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm resonating with everything you're saying. I've been through it all in my younger days. And again, it's why we do this podcast, to tell people stories and make people understand like they're not the only one going through shit or having a tough day or dealing with a certain situation. Like we all deal with it. It's it literally is as easy as flicking a switch. Like just do you focus on the problem or do you focus on the solution?
Yeah. So. And that's something I did struggle with, you know, like it's a victim mentality. And I up until from 18 to 25, even when I was on this podcast, that's something I did. Poor me. Why is it, you know what I mean? And if you can change that, it becomes like shit works for me because, rather than shit doesn't work for me because. Even when something bad happens, a job gets pushed back. Like when I first started, it was like, oh fuck, why does this happen to me? Why did it get pushed back? Now it's like a job gets pushed back. I'm like, oh, it's okay. That's a path that's been chosen for me. That was meant to get pushed back for a reason, you know? Then some bloke will ring you and say, hey, my fucking house raiser's just said he can't do my job. I'm supposed to be doing it this week. It always works out. And if it doesn't, then it fucking does in another way. It wasn't meant to, you know
100%.
What I mean?
And everyone, it is completely around the way that you look at things. Like people will be driving to work and get a couple of red lights and make a decision that day is going to be a shit day because they've got 3 red lights in a row. Like,
that's exactly right. And that goes back to what my coach says. Oh, I got 4 red lights, so I'm late for work. No, you're the dickhead that didn't factor in the fact that you might get 4 red lights on the way to work. If you left 15 minutes earlier, then
there's really no excuses for anything. Like everything, but what I was getting at with that, like it's all what you make of it.
Yeah.
So if you get a red light on the way to work, you can focus on, a couple of red lights. You can focus on those red lights and think that your whole day is going to be shit because you're stuck in traffic or whatever. Or you can look at the red lights and go, oh, I'm more time in the car. I can listen to more podcasts. I can crank the tunes a bit longer. Like everything is about the decisions you make and the outlook you have on it, I guess. So there'd be people that, and I think about this all the time because I think back, like we have stuff that happens in my building business now that used to happen in the old days, but in the old days it'd just piss me off. I'd go off my handle and everything had turned to shit, and then I'd take that out on someone else and then that'd turn to shit. But there's always a solution. Every single frigging thing you deal with every single day always has a solution. You've just got to look for it.
That's exactly right. And I think how you can only control how you react to the solution. Firstly, you can control, is that a situation that I've put myself in some way, shape or form? if it's an employee that's constantly making mistakes and doesn't care, you employed him. Like,
and you're putting up with it.
You're putting up with it. Like, that's okay for you. You know what I mean?
You're only as good as what you accept.
Yeah. And that's exactly right.
So let's move on to employees, because that's been some of our more recent conversations.
Yep. So
you were struggling to make a decision to get rid of some people.
I probably about 4 months ago now, and so it's big, and it's one of those things. I was fighting, so I'm I trained probably 20 hours a week.
Holy shit!
You start accepting things that you wouldn't accept from before. And then I probably did a couple, there was obviously a few jobs in that time that like a beam checkout was wrong, or, people were maybe having a longer smoko because I wasn't there, and it's so stupid because my brother was speaking to me about these things as they were occurring. And I sort of was like putting them off, putting them back, and then same with employees. One thing I used to do, which, again, it's my own problem. I'd fucking blow up about something, but then I wouldn't take any action. A bloke was late, I'd fucking jump down his throat. But then he would be late next week and I'd jump down his throat again, and it would just continue forevermore. And I would accept that, but because I'd blown up, I'd said my piece, and then I'd simmer down. Whereas now I don't get angry anymore. I'm the nicest I've ever been, but probably the most ruthless I've ever been in that same token. Like,
where did that come from, but because it obviously built up to a point, because we spoke half a dozen times in 2 weeks about this, and then you made the call to sack most of them. Probably
obviously I started the business when I was 21, I think, from 21 to 25, and even more so from 18 to 25, even younger than that. I had, employees that, same deal. Someone else would put you in a mood. They would do something like minute, and you would blow up at them, and then you would lose that employee because you couldn't handle your emotion, or you let that person push you to that point. You let someone take your energy to that point, and then you would lose friendships, lose relationships, And I sort of probably it was around the time I first came on the podcast. I was probably 24, 25, and it was like in my life there's probably been 3 or 4 women that could have been the one per se. I'm real happy I have found the one. Yeah, I'll make sure I say that. And then same deal with employees. I had blokes that had capabilities to get me off the tools. They like I look back now, and one in particular, Brent Fordyce, he worked for me for a couple of years. He would have done the first job out at Wynnum with me. And I did the wrong thing by him by not nurturing him. We used to, and other house raisers still do this, just as an example, climb up, like raise the house to fucking 5 meters in the air, and then drill the posts obviously get hung off coach bolts, climb up a ladder, a trestle, and drill the holes out on the day run the string line after you've raised it, run the string line, rah, rah. And he come from a commercial background. He was a chippy. He went to Europe, played up for a bit, and then just said, "Oh man, like I'm just doing labour hire. Like I wouldn't mind doing a day or two with you." And I used to set out the houses. I'd come off one side of the house, like where the bathrooms is, or it's irrelevant anyway. But I would say I would set up because the outside of the house will always be wobbly. Yeah. So I go front and back. We're putting the front and back on that profile line. I'll do the whole set out off that front and back. So I'd run a 3 meter offset, and then rather than hooking onto the outside of the barrier in the middle of the house and measuring 3100 to a wall, I'll go 100 mil off the offset. And if the outside of the house has a 30 mil bow in it, the post line is straight. I didn't build the house. I can't. I can't.
You're only going off the old house.
I'm only going off the old house. And then so I used to do the 3 meter offset, and then I'd be there 3, 4, 5 in string lines on the bottom of the house. And he rocked in. And then afterwards, I would drill all the holes out and then hold the posts up, marked, quick, drill the hole, and then drop the post back down, then lift it back up to rattle. And and it was just like he'd never done house raising before. He just walked in and was like, "Man, why don't you just use a fucking line laser to like set up the 3 meter offset, get a line laser and just get a mark out plate and drill the holes out when it's at head height, so you circumnavigate." But just because that's the way my parents did it. That's the way we've done it for 40 years. He really started getting me in that. I learned so much off that dude, and he was an employee, you know what I mean? And he's a bit of a lazy cunt, so he'd find the easiest way to do something, you know what I mean? So, but then obviously I had a blow up at him one day, and he sort of said, "Oh, look, I'm going to go do something else. and we're still good mates to this day. Like it's no issue, but I sort of got to 24, 25 to sum things up. And I looked back on previous relationships, whether they be romantic, workers, friends, whatever. And it was like, why don't people want to stick around? Like, why don't people want to be in it? I'm a pretty good looking dude. We do awesome work. We have heaps of work. Why do people not want to stay in my life? You know what I mean? And then honestly, probably 30% of that was same deal. Everyone thinks they had a hard done by growing up. Oh, I got picked on at school, this, that, and the other. I had a fucking chip on my shoulder, you know what I mean? So I'd project that insecurity on other people.
Yeah, that's what most people do, man.
And so if you want to overcome that, you got to fix it, or people will just tell you to fuck off. Like, cause like we're alive for such a little amount of time. It's not worth like, and fortunate for me, I probably was that, not that bad, but that.
Mate, we're not even finished this podcast yet, but I know, like, you got a bit teary last time because you wanted your grandfather to be proud of you. And I'm sitting here listening to you, and I can tell you right now, if he's looking down, he'll be proud of you. And
that's exactly, yeah. And so, like, I sort of reflected one year, like, oh, we've had a high turnover of staff, and then obviously I've been working on myself, putting processes in place, because you don't need the processes. Like if you were building a house yourself and you had all the amount of time in the world, you wouldn't need any processes because you've got it here. It doesn't matter. Like, you
do everything yourself. You know what happens.
And it was the same for me. As the business started to grow, that's when you have those issues where it's like, what the fuck? Surely you would have how was that the best you could come up with? But then it's my fault for not getting that and teaching them that. And people's brains work different ways.
But the business outgrows you. I think that's what happens to all of us builders and tradies. Like the work just starts coming, and before you know it, you got heaps of work. But then the business overtakes you, and all of a sudden you get to a point where, like you said, it's you've got to get it out of your head, because when you're doing everything yourself, it's really easy. You just know what you got to do. But then as the business grows and you have more employees and you have multiple jobs on at the same time, then all of a sudden you feel like all you're doing is putting out fires because people aren't doing the things the way you did them or the way you want them done. And it comes back to you can't, like, you're not communicating well. You got no systems and processes. Like you've got to get it all out of your head. And I think it's an important thing to realize, because once the business outgrows you, if you want to go to the next level, you've got to work on yourself.
That's it. And when you start a business, you're always stuck in that old mentality of like, oh, I'm not going to pay people this much because I can't afford it. And this is probably a conversation I had 6 months before I sacked all those dudes, was with you. I was talking about putting a supervisor on, and I'm like, what? Like, and obviously you told me the benefits that it had for you, and just like, so the supervisor I put on a supervisor, and he was like, man, like, this is really toxic workplace, and I sort of had let it, and my brother was telling me as well, and I sort of had let it go because during COVID especially, I had so much work. It was almost like exactly what you're saying. It was almost like I had to accept less than, it cut me, like it fucking hurt me to when you've got, blokes working for you and they don't have their company's best interests at heart. And I didn't let anyone go because I thought to get the work done. I thought I needed it. And then it just like one day we were, I was packing up help. I raced over to help the boys pack up the tools, and everyone wants to be a big dog, get paid more money, but doesn't want to say, I fucked up when something is wrong. Do you know what I mean? And pushes the blame and that sort of stuff. So I had a couple guys in those sort of roles where they should have been being accountable, but just, nah, that's someone else's fault. That's someone else's fault. And it just got to the point where exactly what I was saying before, where it was so unbearable. And I was trying to have, I'd try and do things for the boys where, okay, we're all going to go to the pub for dinner tonight, or we're going to go to bowls, or we're going to go do this. And people would just like say, fuck this. I'm not going to that. I don't want to hang out. Like, you know what I mean? And you got to spend 50 hours a week with these guys. Yeah. And it was just depressing. I'd look around and
you had no culture.
That's exactly right. I'd look around and it'd just be like, oh, fucking just, and so it just got to the point. And then one day I think I was packing up tools for the boys on another job site, and I had these two young fellas, and they don't know any better. And the other thing as well is I would get new employees that would be really good workers, and then after a month or two, I'd work with them for a day and be like, what the fuck happened to this guy? Because and it's so hard to change the culture where you have a massive group of people and they're used to doing one thing. You can't I was trying so hard to be like, listen,
Well, if you keep accepting it, that becomes the normal.
and then it's hard to change that norm. It's hard to pull the reins back in when people are used to having 45-minute smokers, used to having an hour smokers. It becomes like, all right, mate, it's been 35 minutes. We got a lot of work done. We got to get a lot of work done today. And yeah, pretty much the supervisor I had, this one job in particular, we had to get this job done. Like it was gonna piss down rain, and we were drilling the holes and that sort of, we were hanging the posts as we were drilling the holes to push the job along. And we sat down for lunch, and I actually bought lunch that day. So like no one went down for smoker or nothing like that. I was happy to blow $150 on pizzas or whatever it was to just be like, look, I understand it's a you know, like, you know what I mean? Just to keep it rolling, you know, because it's, if I get the job poured, it's easy, you know. And I got up after 30 minutes. I looked over, and for about 10 minutes he sat down on his phone. I said, he goes, I've got I had 3 minutes left in my smoko, you know, and I just thought I'm just living to employ you right now, you know what I mean? And I understand, like, fair enough. He did have 3 minutes left of his smoko when he probably took 10 after that, but if I don't have someone in my business that would look at me in a time of distress and go, fuck it, you know what? Like, I've picked up 3 minutes here, there, and everywhere. It has to be a relationship. It can't be one-sided.
Both ways.
I can't be ruling with an iron fist and not doing anything right by the boys. But at the same time, and it's the same for me. If I look at one of the blokes that works for me now, and they're having a bad day or whatever, if I don't offer to help them out, I'm a fucking asshole. Like, do you know what I mean? Hey, mate, what's going on? If I can fix it or if I can help, then you know what I mean? So then that just made my mind up that day. And I just sort of said to the boys, those couple boys at the end of the week, I said, it was actually like my whole workforce. And it was like, I was so scared of going back to just me, and you know what I mean? Like, I was so scared. And it was funny. Like, I went to training, and my coach is like, you got to remember who the fuck you are. Like, you started it. It's your name on the fence.
Yeah.
Cut the cord.
So you keep mentioning this coach. Is this your boxing coach?
Yeah, it's my Muay Thai coach, Steve. Yeah.
So sounds like he's a bit of a life coach as well.
He is a bit of like, well, as I said, we probably spend 20 hours a week together, like pretty well one-on-one. Like he's probably, like, I would say, changed my life. Yeah. He's a bit full on, but he's real old school. But yeah, like, yeah. And so I actually let go of all those boys. I let go of, I think I lost 6 blokes in one day. And it was hard because a couple of them were brothers. So I let go of one, and then the other brother said, oh yeah, we'll see you later as well. Even the ones I wasn't going to let go of. But I sort of went into that conversation knowing that was going to happen. And then now.
So I think we had a conversation that morning, and I think you rang me back and said, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I think only it was only like 2 or 3 days later, you rang me back and said, fuck, I got the best team ever.
That's it. I put a CCAT up, and I just got, like, it was like, and I guess I'm mildly religious. I guess if you can be mildly religious, like, I think if you're trying to do the right thing by people, and you're trying to do better, like, shit gets handed to you. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, the boys, I put a CCAT up, and then, like, I just asked a few people, and, like, sure enough, rounded up a ragtag bunch of house raisers. And I actually, it sucks because I haven't been able to fight for the last, I had to put my own personal aspirations on hold. I haven't had a fight. Like, I haven't really been able to fight since that was in February. That was the 1st of March. So, like, there was 3 months there where, like, I haven't been able to fight or train or whatever, because I had to get active. It was one of those times where I got to put an airbag on, and I had to bust my ass, and I had to do 10-hour days, and I had to climb stacks.
And you got the business back to where it needed to be.
But I did it. And now we have an awesome culture. I take the boys to the pub once a month, or we're going to go to Slideways go-karting on Saturday night. And I genuinely walk into the place, and I like being around people, you know what I mean? And I don't even get angry anymore. I just say to blokes, like, look, mate, like, that's unacceptable. I won't stand for that. I want you to fix that. If you can't fix that, then I don't have a position for you. Rather than blowing up and then accepting that later on, and then blowing up and just rinse, repeat, I just say, look, man, we're not about that here. If you've got
to set standards. Like, people need to know what your standards are and what you'll accept and what you won't accept. Because yelling at, I yelled at people for years, man. It just does nothing.
And it's like, it comes back to, like, you can't really say it, but like employing people is like having a dog. If you flog the fuck out of your dog every single day and yell at it and scream at it, it gets to the point where it's like, that's nothing to it, because that's the you that it's used to. That's okay. You know what I mean? And whereas if you, and that was a learning curve for me. I'm not saying I've always been the best boss, but I genuinely try and be a good person and then someone people can confide in. And younger blokes, when I did my apprenticeship, the builder or the tradies that I worked with, like if you didn't carry 2 sheets of fucking yellow tongue, you're a weak. You know, like it was very, very like that. You know what I mean? If you don't do that, whereas I'm not. The culture we have now is like, let's have a good time and let's get it done, you know? So it's very hard to unlearn those things, you know what I mean?
It is, especially if you've come from a background of learning from older tradies and builders.
Yeah. And I, well, like I did come from back, like working for my uncles and stuff. Like that was hard, but they were good. But when I did my carpentry apprenticeship, I did have a couple bosses that were like, if you don't do this or you don't like create like a clique within it, and you know you're fighting for their approval to try and be, you know what I mean. Whereas like if they made you want to come to work, you would have been way more productive than then you're trying like, I don't know if this guy fucking likes me or what, you know what I mean?
Like the way you show up rubs off and reflects on your entire team. If you're showing up every day and whinging and bitching about stuff, and like I think back to even back in the day, like I'd turn up and I'd be whinging and bitching about the clients that they hadn't paid the bills, and at the end of the day, it was all my fault. I'd done shit wrong. I hadn't followed paperwork and documents and all those types of things. And then that rubbed off on the team. Like it gets the whole team down, and then you can see them dragging your feet, and energy is a powerful thing. Like, you've got to turn up. You've got to be in a good mood. You've got to say good day to everyone. Talk to them about the kids. How's their weekend? Like, get involved. And as you said, like when you show that you show interest in your team, they're going to show up to work every day and put in a good work
and create some camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one thing. And I've had since then, like I've probably let 4 or 5 blokes go since I just if they don't want to buy in, if they want to give other people a hard time. I have no time for that. We're here to have a good time. We're here to get the work done in a safe manner.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, then that's all good, man. This isn't the place for you to work. Like that's okay. Like if you want to live like that, I'm nothing against you.
Yeah.
But I can't have you in here ruining my shit because it's good. Like, do you know that?
Mate, I'm seriously so proud of what you're achieving. It's friggin' awesome. And like you're not just like doing house raising anymore. You bought a couple of trucks. You're doing a bit of earthworks.
Doing some earthworks and that sort of stuff. And it's sort of same deal. During COVID, I'd get a machine, and I had a guy who had an awesome bunch of operators. And during COVID, obviously I'm the loyal old dog. I'll get him every job anyway. So then it gets to a point where like you might, and maybe it wasn't even his fault because I didn't put my best foot forward sometimes during COVID because we were so flat out as well. But it just got to a point where like, especially when you drill, like, so I marked the post out on the house up there. I used to have to have a young fella there with a plumb bob and a stick to make sure the post get drilled in the right spot, you know? And you'll get some 50-year-old machine operator guy that wants to go home. He lives in Rochedale. We're doing a job at Redcliffe. It's 1 o'clock on a Friday. The young bloke says, these holes, they need to get chipped out a little bit. We got to move them over. And he goes, nah, mate, they'll be right, you know? And then obviously you're not going to have me as a business owner. I'm not going to have my most expensive dude there because all he has to do is make sure the holes are in the right spot. So that happened a couple of times. Then you go to hang him and then you get spend the whole day rather than just doing you. And he's a subby. He's never going to see you again. Doesn't matter. Like, doesn't worry him. He's still got his $140 an hour pass go. Like, yeah. Which I got nothing against that guy. Like, there's a place for him here digging our garden beds or whatever.
That come back to what we were talking about before. Like, people don't give a fuck about the next person.
That's exactly right. And I fucking let that happen. I let him not give a fuck about that. So like, rather than trying to blow up and try and get the same operator all the time, it just got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to drill the holes. I'm just going to drill the holes and I'm going to do it $5 an hour cheaper for the builder. So you're getting a good deal. And then I don't have to pay someone $30 an hour to stand there. So actually I'm saving $25 an hour by the time I clip your ticket.
Yeah.
Everyone's winning, you know? And it's funny, like, I'll get an operator and I'll say, look, mate, like, because obviously by the time you have a 150, 200 base plate in a 450 hole, best case scenario, you got 70 mil. On the very best day, red dirt, goes down, Mickey Mouse, best case scenario, you've got 70 mil, you know? Yeah. And also like if you go to plumb, and it's happened to me before, you go to plumb up a post, it fucking hits the side of the hole and doesn't go plumb. So you're there trying to sledgehammer it over at the bottom and that sort of stuff. You don't have 50 mil cover on that post, bro. That's your builder's license, that your chance in that. Do you know what I mean? And what do? Do you rip the post out, which I have? If I can't get the post nice like I want it, pull the post out, trowel it off, and then I got to cut the fucking post off and fabricate it and bolt it down because it's not up to spec. And so I bought one machine and started drilling my own holes and it's funny, you put on an operator and you tell them, hey, I need the holes in the right spot. And they're like, yeah, mate, I've drilled a million holes, you know? And so, and same deal. I would blow up before when they didn't drill the holes in the right spot. Whereas now I just go, oh yeah, no, that's all good, man. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get off the machine tomorrow. Like that next day, I'm going to say, oh, I just tools down on the excavator. I'll get you to race over here, and they'll come over, and I'll go, oh yeah, sweet. There's the crowbar. I'll get you to chip those 15 holes and clean the shit out of the bottom of them because they got to be like dinner plates before we pour. And they'll never drill a hole in the wrong spot again. And I'm not getting angry. I'm just setting the standard for what I accept. You know, do you know what I mean? And
do you find telling the why but makes a big difference? Like telling with those sorts of things, like I've definitely found like you got to tell people the why. If you're just telling a machine operator, hey, I need that hole to be bang on there, to him bang on could be fucking 300 mil either way.
That's exactly right.
But unless you take the time to explain to him, hey mate, like we've got to put this post in plumb. It's 75 mil post. It's got a 200 mil base plate on it, and that base plate has to be in the center of that hole. So it's really important that you take the time and you get the hole where we need it to be. And
I do that, but sometimes you still get those dudes that are, oh yeah, young fella, I've done it a million times. Like I've drilled heaps of holes, mate. I've done it, millions of underhouse digs. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but I won't accept that hole being in the wrong spot. If other house raisers do that, fucking good on them. That's their caper.
Yeah, or we'll go the other way and say, look, that's all good, but if any of these are out, I'll be sending you my time for the time that we got to take to ship these holes.
But then it becomes a thing like when you let's say you get a big Herbie's mob in, or you get Eagle or whatever, contesting the bill. Do you know what I mean? It's just more, so it just got to the point where I was like, oh, it's just literally easy for me to do it. The builder, because before, like obviously, as you know, the earthworks is never in the price. It's always just however long it takes, because if I give you a PC sum, then you're trying to put a PC, it becomes a bit messy. So what I do now, you don't have to organise a machine. I've got that. And also like that as a earth moving contractor, they don't work for me. I can't expect them to be there the next day. Like they've got their own lives because I'm only doing 3 jobs a week. Fair enough. I might think 3 jobs a week is a lot of work and then I should get preference over other people, but maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. But whereas when it's my guy, like he works for me, so like I'm racing to get the house raised up, so I've got enough earthworks for him to keep going on with, and then he's obviously,
it makes sense because then you're doing the site cuts and stuff as well.
It's more responsibility, obviously, but if you're willing to take on the responsibility, it just makes it makes my life easier, makes the builder's life easier. One less cog.
Yeah. So what happened with I want to talk about the gear getting knocked off because I think it's a good story. We're in an industrial estate down in Sandgate there. The truck and the trailer doesn't fit in the yard. It's the only truck that doesn't go in my yard. Everything else gets parked up at night in the yard. So I had someone broke the window and hot wired the truck and pinched. It had a bobcat on the back, a plant trailer, a full load of gear, and obviously the truck. And so an excavator too, didn't it?
Yeah,
on the trailer.
A bobcat, skid steer, skid steer on the trailer. Yeah. So, and this is probably just on we've got a few machines and that sort of stuff now, but this would have been when it was just on the cusp of that. So it was the only means I had to
keep the business going. So like for the first 3 days it got knocked off, like I was crying. I was paying the boys to mow my lawns and stuff because as you said, like the boys they work for someone on the premise that they have work every week. Do you know what I mean? Like in theory, I make the big bucks, so I have all the fucking dramas. They just rock up, do their job, get paid on Wednesday. They don't have to worry about none of that stuff. So, and especially with labourers, if you don't have work for them for 2 weeks, and during COVID, I'll just go somewhere else.
Why wouldn't they go somewhere else? They got a family to look after, you know. So like I reckon my yard would have been fucking swept like 30 times over those, you know. And
after it was only like, I think you put a post out like 24 hours later or something, didn't you?
So it took 3 days to get I got air tags in the I just put them in random parts of the truck and
trackers.
Trackers, yeah. And then I've got trackers in the now I've got trackers in the machine, like GPS ones as well as air tags, like, you know what I mean? Just a few different fail safes. So the people that pinched it must have had Androids because I couldn't find where it was. And so there was the Bobcat has one where you turn the Bobcat on as well, and it sends like ping straight to you. So it blew up. And it was actually on, you know, on the way out here on the way to Brendale, there's like the big hill on the left-hand side.
Yeah, on Linkfield Road.
Linkfield Road, there's like old housing.
Yeah, they bought that housing estate through, and there was that one big house left on the end there near the power lines.
Yeah, that's where it was. Like I get there and like my truck's not there, but the Bobcat's there. All the stickers are fucking peeled off. All the shirts and everything out of the trucks is in a bag there. Some like, and there's a fire there. Like people are about to burn like burn the shit. You know what I mean? Like it was just like weird, you know. And then so I got that back and I was like, oh, like, you know. And then it was at a time where it was a 12-month wait on machines. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was literally fucked. I was literally like hiring stuff and like, you know what I mean? Just so much more time gets consumed in dropping machines off, picking them up, borrowing trucks, budget truck rentals. Oh, this dude's under 25. He can't drive the truck. Oh, I got to fucking drive it. It was like,
yeah.
And then the tracker pinged at someone's house.
Yeah, but you put a post up and Camille shared it.
Yeah.
And then a lady messaged and said, hey, I think that truck's in my backyard.
That's exactly right. I don't want to stitch her up in case they hit that. But in a roundabout way, someone told me where the truck was, you know? Yeah. And yeah, it was from the post getting shared. Yeah. And and I sort of, and it, cause it was like the tracker pinged near there, and then I got that call, and the Sheila was like, I got some photos sent to me, and like the dude's literally there cutting pieces off the truck, you know. And I rang the police, and they sort of said, oh, without a warrant, mate, like there's nothing we can do unless I don't, like they just blew me off. Said call police link. I'm like, mate, there's some bloke cutting up my fucking truck in his backyard.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like
I was blown away. I was and like this, it's probably for bigger companies and what if these people would probably get away with it. But for me, it was like I got 5 blokes there that like can't feed their families if I can't pay them this week, and I can't pay them this week, or like obviously,
yeah, if I can't get the work done,
they keep the money coming in. Like, yeah, fair enough, they can mow my lawn for a month, but like, fuck, after that, it's the same result. So I actually jumped the fence and I
would love to see the footage of this. I think it'd be hilarious.
There's no footage, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but.
Mate, you're allowed to talk about anything on this podcast. I've heard you were throwing them off verandas and.
I jumped the fence and it's funny, the lady that told me about where it was, she's like, oh, watch out, they're bikies and they're this and that and the other. And I jumped the fence and opened the front door, and I shit you not, this bloke is smoking a fucking crack pipe like in the lounge room, and I was just like, obviously I was fuming, so like I didn't take that in, but looking back now, like that's almost comedic. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so we got into a bit of a tussle, and my brother come with me, and a few of the boys that work for me come with me because they're like, oh fuck, we don't have a job. Like we'll come get your shit back. You know what I mean? And it's funny, like a dude walks around the corner with a ballpoint hammer, and my brother's like, what are you doing, mate? You know? And so like we got into this big Barney with him. And it was like a week after I had my first Muay Thai fight, so I was like, I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm
still buzzing.
I'm still buzzing. And then they actually rang the police on us. So like it flipped the script, and the police rocked up, and I
find the whole story hilarious, mate. Like these guys are running this big, like, didn't they have number plate printers and all sorts of shit?
It was like
It was a big setup.
That's what I mean. Like it was so funny. I was dumbfounded when they called the police, because like the police rock up, gives me a stern talking to for taking the law into my own hands, and I said, look, man, like honestly, I'm going broke if I don't get this truck back. So I don't really give a fuck about what you're going to charge me with. There's nothing that is worse than me not being able to provide for my family, keep my business going. Like, throw the book at me. I'll admit, yeah, fair enough, I did the wrong thing. But I was fucked without getting my truck back, you know?
I rang you first. Yeah. You didn't help me.
And then so like, and it's so funny. Like, I'm there, like my truck's got a number plate printed out on the front of it. And I checked the number plate and it was off like another hino. So they're obviously scoping out shit that looks the same and printing out the number plates and then laminating them and putting them behind number plate cases. And that it looked like legit, you know? And then the police actually were half happy by the end because they had like 3 builders trailers there, you know, 20 grand worth of Milwaukee tools. And like, I look back now and I piss myself laughing when it happened, because I'm sitting there, like we're sitting there sat down getting charged or whatever for trespassing and
public nuisance
and shit. And old mate rings this fella up and he goes, hey mate, we've found your motorbike, we've found your Kawasaki Ninja. And I look over and it's a fucking swing arm on the ground, man. And I'm like they're ringing people about their stolen goods, but like this bloke's gonna go, oh yeah, they found my motorbike, and he rolls in and it's just like a tire and a like just bits and pieces. And the Sheila there said, oh, we've got him on camera flogging us up, we want him charged, rah, rah, rah. And so they said, oh yeah, sweet, so you'll have like whoever brought all this stolen shit here on camera, wouldn't you? And she's like, oh, we don't have anything on camera. Yeah. But there was like, no shit, it was like a trade tools in the back shed there. Like they opened it up, jet skis, motorbikes, cars.
Yeah, so you've just got heaps of people's shit back and done a lot of people a big favour.
That's what I mean. And then that's what I said to him. I said, look, like if you had got my truck back, but like my truck was fucked. Like they pressure packed black the whole thing. So I was like super cheap auto rattle can fucking paint job, you know, like I was dropping gear to jobs like half, you know, dip the hat on the, you know, because it just looks so fucked, because it still ran good, but it just looks so fucked for like the next week. But yeah, like and that's like,
it's crazy, isn't it, that shit goes on. Like theft is one thing that really boils my blood. Like,
and especially like when you steal someone's ability to make a living, I can't. Do you know what I mean?
Scumbag. Like it is just scumbags. Like if you want something, go and work and earn it yourself. Don't knock it off from people that'll work hard to get it.
And I say that to the boys as well. I make a point of not. I'd still buy secondhand stuff, but I make a point of not like fishing that sort of stuff out when you see it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. I definitely make a point of not buying other people's shit, because you know like I'd be a TAFE 5-10 years ago, and other apprentices would be like, oh, I got a mate, like I bought this cordless kit off him for $50 or whatever, and you're like, what kind of, you can't buy the fucking Milwaukee cordless kit for $50.
Yeah.
If you buy into it and you buy those things, then then you're enabling people. And it's funny, I got another mate and he sort of said to me, oh, it's probably like a month after that. He said, oh, I got this mate that's got this, I'm going to buy it off him, right? Like he got it from Bunnings or whatever the story was. And I said, oh man, like if you want to, that's all well and good. But I said, like, especially after having my shit knocked off, that further enforces the fact that I can't buy other people's. I can't.
Like you said, you can't enable people to keep doing it. I can't enable
people that to keep doing it. He goes, oh, yeah, righto, no worries. And then like he rang me back 2 days later and he's like, oh, fuck, I was on a job site. I just stuck down the road for 10 minutes and they pinched this and this. And all I could fucking think was, it's my fault for buying this. And I said, you should, like that is your fault. You know, he goes, yeah, I fully understand what you like, you know what I mean? And so that was a hard life lesson for him to learn. But at the same time, yeah, like.
So mate, that was some good practice for you. You're into your fighting now. You're bloody doing a few fights. You're looking fit as.
Yeah, I've lost
the and like you said, your coach has helped you out a lot in life, and that's flowed through to your business. But I imagine the fighting has helped you. Like fitness helps everybody. Yeah, but it's become a bit of a release for you to take out the stress of work and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's sort of it. So Steve-O makes us run 7Ks every arvo, and then we, do rounds on the pads for, so I get home and I'm just fucking destroyed. wake up the next day and do it again. I've always struggled to sit still and then that was the other thing. I'd go on Instagram and fuck around and just waste hours of my day just trying to not numb myself, I guess, but to wind down, so to speak. So it's I've got a release now in the way that I go train every afternoon. And obviously like I don't look into the body chemistry stuff of it, but apparently it releases endorphins and I genuinely, I would say I would have been depressed before I started it. Yeah. Like I would have been, I was 100 and I think I was 118 kilos when I first started, when I first walked into the gym and I was.
So what made you want to do it? Is it something you always wanted to do?
I had a boxing fight when I was 18 and I was pretty fit at the time and I really enjoyed it. I've always at school, I used to get in blues all the time and that sort of stuff. It was something it's always crept into my life in one way or another. I guess at footy, I'd be a bit rough and tumble, and I had probably my best mate from when we were maybe 13 years old. He passed away, and he was actually my first employee. When I bought my house, the first bloke I ever lived with. And when we were kids, I got a lazy eye, so we used to get, especially not that Nudgy's bad school or anything like that, but I come from, my mum's got enough money to send me there, but not the sort of money that other people have there. So she'd be dropping me off to school in the Falcon with the dicky seat in the back, and I'd be getting her to drop me down the bottom so no one seeing me driving to school. And I can't even remember. He was just not to say he was a weird kid, but he was just a bit different, And so we got picked on a fair bit during school for whatever reason. And I got to a point where I was I got a bit bigger, hit puberty, and I fended for myself a bit. And as sad as it is now to this day, there was times in group scenarios where I didn't stick up for him. I was just happy to not be getting shit hung on me that I didn't, and then we got out of school and we got you start partying and that sort of stuff. And he got more and more into that lifestyle. And when you're in that lifestyle and you're,
partying and stuff.
Yeah, and obviously all the things that go with it, like drugs and that sort of stuff. People gravitate towards you, but they're fake. They're fake people. You know what I mean? So he passed away pretty much a year before I had my first fight, and I, as sad as it is, I think he died never truly being happy with who he was inside. Do you know what I mean? And that's a fucked thing to say that he lived his whole life and maybe wasn't comfortable with himself. You know what I mean? And then about the same time, me and my brother got into a Barney, and he said, "You think you're a big tough cunt? Go have a fight, go do it in the ring. You think And I said, and I was 120 kilos at the time, and I said, it started off as I'm just gonna do it for me mate. I'm gonna go have a blue and obviously fuck it. I would have been real self-conscious at the time. You like to say, I don't care about what other people, but even within myself, it just didn't feel good to be, especially because I'm only 5'10". I was a big dude, So it was one of those things. It was a bit of a turning point in my life, and obviously he had health implications for other reasons, but I was looking at myself in the mirror and going man, I'm gonna be a big dude if I keep going down this route, and just as much as doing positive things positively affects everything, doing negative things, being negative and being in that shit mentality, work all day, driving home at 6 o'clock at night because you didn't put any processes in place, and then you're fucking too tired to cook dinner, so fuck it, I'll just get Macca's, and then that turns into pizza the next night, and then it gets to the point where you're you look back and
just all laziness, isn't it?
It's all laziness. And my missus reckons I'm still lazy. She cooks my meal plan, so I got to give her a bit of a shout out. But yeah, so I my mate Bo, I said, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do something for you. And I rolled down to the gym. And I said, yeah, I want to have a fight. And Steve looked me up and down and said, yeah, you can have a fight, but you got to run 7Ks. You run 7Ks every day for a month to get into fighters before training. And I ran, the first day I ran 3Ks in 26 minutes or something. And then it took me about 6 months to get into fighters, and it was one of those things that what was, that was driving you? You wanted to do it for your mates, so I just wanted to, and I wanted to, anything I've never done in my life, like I've been pretty half right at a lot of things, I guess. Anything I've never done, it was because I was in my own head. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could, you know what I mean? And if I didn't have a coach like Steve, I would never have had a fight, you know, and especially being the boss, no one holds you accountable. Like people will whinge about you, but no one says, what are you doing, you dickhead? Like when it flips the script and you're getting flogged up by a 16-year-old kid that weighs 50 kilos, it humbles you so immensely. It's not funny. So you go from being the big dog at work to going there and you're the slowest, fattest you're the slowest, fattest person at that, you know, you're I think
you're the first one on this podcast to drop C-bombs.
Sorry.
Mate. So
you'll have to cut them out.
That's all right, mate. That's
the house razor coming out at me. But you're the slowest, fattest person there. It brings you back down to reality and you realise, but it also helps. The business actually helped because I've been in the hurt locker before. I've started something from nothing. What's the difference between me and a world champion? 10,000 hours. All right, no worries. In 10,000 hours of training, I'll be there. So.
Fuck, you've changed, mate. Like, seriously, since we first met, like, I don't know how long it's been. What has it been? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Like, you are on a mission. Like, it's awesome.
And probably even more so now that I start to think about having kids and that sort of stuff, I want to be a good person is above all else, you know what I mean? It's like, and then, so obviously, like I got a bit of fire in the belly, I guess that's why I do like fighting. And, but then to be angry at people and not that I have ever gone that way, but to be violent towards people that don't want, it's a sport, you know what I mean? Like it's an outlet. It's like a game of chess, but it hurts. Yeah, like that's the simplest way to put it.
Well, I'm not going to play chess with you.
So it's I've learned so many things that have transpired, and like.
So do you think the fighting is? I haven't done fighting. A couple of my mates were champion bloody kickboxers and shit growing up, and I trained a little bit here and there with them, but yeah, I could just never get into it. But do you think it's more the commitment? Like you obviously get a lot out of the fighting, but I imagine you get just as much or more out of the training and out of the commitment.
It makes you so mentally tough.
And the consistency.
And if you consistently do shit that you don't want to do, it becomes easier to do things that you don't want to do. And no one wants to work.
And that flows through to your business.
That's exactly right.
Like everyone forgets about consistency and commitment. They all just want the easy.
And delayed gratification, like nothing. Like there's nothing in this world that comes easy and is good.
Yeah.
You win the lotto tomorrow, you still feel empty because you'll be
broke in a week because you haven't earned it. I wouldn't say
no, but I would go. But now that I know what I know, I'd go buy new tools and new trucks because do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I'm not a good runner by any means necessary, you know. And I think my best, I did a 7K maybe a month and a half ago in 4 minutes and 20 seconds a K, 4 minutes and 25 seconds a K, which is about 30 minutes, and that's like a good pace for, I don't know if you know much about running, but that's a good pace for anyone, let alone a bloke that was 125 kilos. And when you're on the run and it's like, and people always, even people always say, there's better things you could do, like jump on the bike and get your exercise, get your heart rate up. That'll get you fitter quicker. But nothing prepares you for like when you're like 5Ks in and it's another 3Ks and it's so shit and you just got to keep going.
Well, you got to get back, haven't you?
You've got to get back.
On a bike, it's easy to step off. On a run, you've got to get back home.
That's exactly right. And it's sort of, and then furthermore from there, you know, you sort of think, you know, everyone that watches boxing fights thinks like, you know, when someone gets hit flush, knocked out, you think, yeah, I'd get up. You know what I mean? I'd get up. Like everyone thinks they would, and you don't know if you would until you're in that situation.
Everyone's always sitting up in the stands and in the arena, mate, and giving people shit and saying, like at a football game, you hear them all in the stands singing out or watching the State of Origin or something, and everyone's like trying to tell them what to do. Like, you fucking get down there on the field and do it then. That's
exactly right. And it's probably like, you know, the boys that work for me come and watch me fight. That's probably the most vulnerable you could ever be in front of the people that look up to you as a boss. You get knocked out in front of, you know. So
so what's your goal? What's your goal with the fighting?
With the fighting, I want to do it till I want to do it for another maybe 4 years. It'd be, you know, obviously I'd be aiming to win like an Australian title or something in 3-4 years time as it comes to light. I just want to, and same again when I have kids or even when I have employees and they're 18 and and they're going and getting on the piss with their mates on the weekends. Not that that's like, but they're going to the valley or like going camping with your mates. Awesome. Having a couple beers in your backyard with your mates. Awesome. Going and spending your whole paycheck at the casino or not awesome. You know, I'm a very headstrong person in the way that like if someone wants to give me advice, how credible are they? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm trying to give people advice or whatever, but I want to, at the end of the day, stand on my own 2 feet and say, oh, look, I've done the hard yards. Like I've made the tough decisions.
You were saying before we started recording today, you're talking to me about you want to start a family and stuff, and you're saying that you don't want your kids to get to a point where they say to you, what have you done? Yeah. Like, and I think that's, like, there'd be a lot of parents out there that, like, if they thought about it, like, what have they completed? What have they done? Like, you want to set examples for people, don't you? Like, and then follow through.
And the worst bosses I ever had were bosses that just told me to do shit. The best bosses I ever had were bosses that said, come on, come with me. This is how you do it. Rather than just, and I've been both. Yeah. I've been a boss that tells people what to do. I've been a boss that grabs someone by the shirt and says, oi, come on.
Mate, I jumped on the shovel this morning with our first year apprentice and shoveled 3 cube of crusher dust.
That's what I mean. But I've worked for people that would sit in the aircon in their fucking car and pretend to make calls and be on their phone.
Yeah, I agree 100%, mate. Like, you got to practice what you preach. Like,
the more you practice, that's probably the biggest thing I love about Muay Thai and kickboxing, bringing it back to that, is I never want to go to training after work. I never want to, my toes are fucked from kicking people's shins. I never want, I enjoy it, but if I could sit at home on the couch and get the same results, but you don't get the same results from sitting on the couch at home. So I just love the mental tenacity that it builds in your brain, you know what I mean? Like and when you step into the ring and fight someone and they can't match your energy, like that's a powerful feeling. Don't get me wrong, there's been times when I've been the nail, not the hammer, but even in those fights I had where I was losing, I'm not gonna fucking give up. Like that's not me. I'm not capable of that. You know what I mean? And then if you like, I just love that. I love even the fights that I've lost. People go, fuck, that Shane Steele fella's tough, or like he fought a good fight. Do you know what I mean?
I know I've said to you, and I am keen as to come and watch you fight. Every time we've had a fight, there's been other shit on, but I just want to come. I want to hear him call your name out. Yeah, like, you have got a name for a fighter. Here comes Shane Steele.
And I walk out to my walkout song's Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. You know, so it's like it was funny. I was rewatching one of my last fight, and I walked out to Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, and the commentator's like, oh, he'd want to be a tough bugger to, you know, you'd want to have a bit of gusto about you to. Because everyone, that's the other thing, like I'm not trying to be something I'm not. You know, everyone walks out to like 50 Cent, Eminem, like, man, I'm a house re-stumper from Beanley. What do me and 50 Cent have in common, you know what I mean? But I work 5 to 5, you know what I mean? So like, I just be myself, go out there, have a crack, have a good time. And like everyone I've had a fight, like I'm lifelong friends with pretty well every bloke that I've had a fight, like a fight in the ring with, because you should, like, it's a crazy feeling. I can't explain it. Like, I cannot explain a feeling like it when you're walking out, like, and I'm getting like butterflies and the tingles on the back of my neck thinking about it, because it's like it's like I can't even. It's like I've played footy. I played half a right footy. I've done heaps of things, but nothing compares to that. You know what I mean? And but yeah, and that's what I love about it. If you just get up every day and the days that I don't want to do it, you end up having the best session, because you once you get over and you realise I'm here to stay, it becomes so much easier. And that's something that's and when I first went down there and started training, I did have a weak mind. Like I did. There was days that I fucking give up and
I think your podcast today is going to inspire a lot of people. Like, I take my hat off to you. If you keep, like, we're going to have to get you back another 18 months, mate. Yeah. Because I want to see you. I want to keep continuing to watch your journey. And I guess for anyone that's listening or watching this podcast, go back and listen to Shane's first one, and you'll hear and see the difference from the last one to this one.
And probably the biggest thing I'll say to people is, which I like about your podcast, I like about a few other podcasts that I watch, is everyone online will tell you how great they're doing. They tell you how they're fucking killing it, how nothing's ever a drama, it's all smooth sailing, I'm the greatest, rah, 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 rah. I'll tell you, then this is what I project is like, I've been a terrible boss in my life. I suppose it would be, I've been a coward in the way that, like the COVID thing, I didn't get vaccinated. If you can stand up in a room full of people and have an opinion different to everyone else and voice it firmly, and that's a powerful thing. There's been times when I haven't been that person, and that's okay if you're not that person right now, but as long as every day you're trying, and sometimes, and I'll bring back to Steve-O, he talks about like rowing a boat. He's like, you jump in the boat, you need to get up the river, you fucking row, and then you get washed down the river a bit, or you get washed off to the side. As long as you get back on the horse, and there's days where you're not going to be the best, and there's days where you're going to look back and be like, oh, I didn't handle that the best, or I wasn't the best person in that situation. If you're genuinely striving to be better every day, it'll get to a point where you'll never achieve it. You'll never achieve what you want to, like, you'll achieve what you want to be. When I talk about that, if you set a goal and you want to be this, even if you don't get to that, let's say it's an unrealistic goal, you're still 10 times better than what you were when you started, and you gotta look back, but don't forget to keep going. Do you know what I mean? And that's
you have to set unrealistic goals, mate. And like, even if you only get halfway there, like you say, you're still far better off than where you were.
That's exactly right.
Like, but you've got to push, you've got to aim for something. But I think you're an inspiring young bloke, mate. I really, really love what you're doing. I love our little chats we have. And I know you've definitely inspired people today. So, like, before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd want to touch on before you?
Not really. I definitely wanted to finish on that like, even me now, like, I'm not perfect. I'm trying, like, I definitely don't want to be one of those people that acts like it's okay to think, like, probably the what you were talking about at the start of the show, where you said what makes you get up, and
I made you think about it, haven't I?
What makes you get up? Like, obviously, I think I got a twinkle in my eye that other people don't have. I don't think I'm better than them, or I think I'm willing to do what other people won't.
But even, I guess, we'll touch on that for a bit before we wrap up. Like, it doesn't, like, when I asked you what gets you out of bed every day, like, some people think that has to be something really special. Yeah. But do you know what mine is?
What's that?
I just want to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. Like, that's
it doesn't have to be huge. Like, and reality is, if you aim to be better than you were the day before, put in more effort than you did the day before, just that extra 1%, just keep putting in that extra 1% all the time. Reality is, you are going to reach incredible goals and have incredible things, because you're continually growing. And when you're continually growing, that's when you get to a point where you think things are easier, but they're not easier. You've just grown. And that is when, if you want to take it to the next level, that's when you put a little bit more on your plate. You put a little bit more on your plate. When things get easy, make them hard again. And then that's definitely a key point too. Like, and
not hard in the way of like, this is shit, it's not working. Hard in the way of like, how can I find a way to make this easier? And then once you compartmentalize that, put it in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And as a business, you'll do that, put it in your back pocket, turn around, fix something else, and then that'll be fucked again. So you'll have to go back and fix that.
And the most important thing is, don't when things do get a little bit hard again, don't go back to your old ways. Like, you've got to keep growing all the time.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. And just trying. Like some people, like, sometimes stuff doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, when I built those trusses, it was like a gamble. You know what I mean? It was an educated guess. Bet on yourself. Like, bet on yourself. I say this, and this probably more so for younger blokes. Like, I wasted so much time in my life from 16 to 22, going out, drinking, getting FOMO. Oh, what are my mates doing? Just worry about what you're doing. Worry about yourself. And there'd be 40-year-olds like I'll probably come to that conclusion when I was 24. I needed to make a change. There's no way I was going to let it, like, if you're a 40-year-old and you haven't come to that conclusion, or things aren't,
you're going to kill it, mate. Because that was a huge realization for me. Like, because especially with Instagram, like, people are so sucked into now to all the shit they see on Instagram. And reality is, like, I know I could be more real. Like, I try and be pretty real on my socials, and that's why a lot of people are following this podcast and doing what they're doing. But like, I know I could do a lot more, but there's days where I'm like, oh fuck, didn't get a good sleep last night. I look a bit shit. Like, and then like, oh yeah, no, I don't feel like doing a post today or whatever. But like, I try and keep it as real as possible.
And that's, people like authenticity. Do you know what I mean? Like I try and be as real as possible. Like I am who I am, and I can't change who I am. And it's so funny. The more time you spend, the other thing as well is, like, I found when I was real self-conscious about other people and what other people were doing, I was judging people. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what's flowing through you. You're worried about what they're doing, so then you walk past someone on the street, you know, like someone might be down and out on the street or whatever, and then you'll judge them without it. You know what I mean? These days, I'm like, hey, you going, mate? No worries. Like, like, who gives a fuck? It doesn't, like, we're all just existing, trying to have a good time, so to speak. The more you get consumed by what it holds you, you're giving people your energy. That's the biggest thing that I'm so against, is like, if I give someone 5 minutes of my day, or not necessarily one person, if I give anyone 10 minutes of my day every single day, whether that be on Instagram, like I literally don't even have, and I've got a real addictive personality, like with ADD, is like, I can't stop myself from going on Instagram. I can't stop myself from going on Facebook. So I've literally had to hack myself and get my office lady to change the passwords on my social media. And this is just me recognizing that I'm not capable of, like, some people are, I'm not. So I've got on the Steelhouse Racing phone in the office, I've got Instagram and Facebook. So like, and it's so hard now, especially because you need social media. Social media is such a big part of business. Like, it's crazy.
Incredible for business, but it's so addictive.
So addictive, because man, it's hard to raise their house. Who doesn't want to watch videos of like cars racing or whatever you may be interested in? You know what I mean? So like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one, mate. I get sucked into cars racing, people doing skids, bloody fishing.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like, you know, and then it's sort of all like kickboxing stuff, like all that sort of thing. I get so, but then
it's worse. Like it's actually worse than drugs, isn't it?
It literally is. And like
there's people ruining their lives because they are stuck on it so much.
And also the people that organize Instagram and Facebook and that, they're so much smarter than us. Like in the way that like when you play a poker machine, it makes certain sounds that are harmonically pleasing to this. It's the same for Instagram. They have like,
it's all the algorithm, mate. They feed you what you want to see.
That's exactly right. Then to keep you there, because then they can charge your shop an extra $50 on an ad, because they'll go, look, 1 million people, like when you're swallowing through, that's what they'll slip that in, you know, that they
that's a whole other podcast, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is, not that I don't care what other people are doing, but I don't waste my life.
It's all right to say that, but I say that. Camille gets the shits with me, but I don't care. I do not care what other people are doing. I don't care what's happening in the world. All I care about is I need to run my own race and look after my family.
And that's where I'm at. Like, I need to be more present in my relationships, and I can give more time to stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be on my phone at the office and I'll go, oh, it's 9 o'clock. Like, that's 2 hours I could have been teaching people to make me more money, to be better at their job. Or I get home at night, go on my phone, and then it's 9 o'clock. So I go to bed, you know, and that's an hour I could have been walking my dog, bro. Like, I'm that thing's whole life. You know, like I literally licks the windows when I come home. You know what I mean. And it's like, I'm everything to him. I
think that's awesome, because my dog brings me back to reality. Like, I look at my dog Walter, and there's not a care in the world.
Literally.
Like, he just gives, like Camille and I talk about it all the time, like, he just loves us.
That's what I mean, you know, and it's unconditional. No matter how shit your day's been, no matter, you could come in that gate so grumpy, that dog loves you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
how good is it, like, spending time out in the yard throwing a ball or patting the dog, like, rather than sitting on flicking fucking social media on your phone? You're
doing him a disservice if you're sitting there. And it was a reality check for me. One day I was like, I can't remember what I was doing. I was real sick, or for whatever reason I was just sitting on the couch. I think it might have actually been after one of my fights. My shins were busted but like, I looked over at my dog after like being on my phone for 3 hours, and I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I like, let's go for a walk, bro. And it hurt me to go for a walk because I was sore. But he's like sniffing everything. Like, it was just like just being present around. Like, you know what I mean? That's something I've always struggled with, and especially like your generation actually existed before social media. Like Instagram was like, it was a big thing when I was like 12, 13. I feel bad for people moving forward from here because my generation, I'm the last person, the last age group to ever truly be bored. You know, when you're like in your room and like there's literally nothing to do, you know what I mean? Whereas now there's like...
Mate, I was driving home from work yesterday and I'm driving down the road and there's this kid riding a Flash mountain bike. He would have been 8 or 10 years old and he had a phone holder on his handlebars. And one hand on the handlebars and like one hand flicking. So
no way.
Yeah, he would have been on Instagram. And then I got a red light and he was like, I passed him and then I got up to a red light. And then he's come past me, like no hands. And then as I took off and got the line turned green, I took off again. He's riding down the road, no hands, but then his hands keep touching the screen.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, holy fuck. Like not only is it super dangerous because you're riding along a road where the speed limit's 70 k's an hour, but you are more focused on your phone than what you're doing and where you're going.
Or even just taking it in.
Yeah, and that's what I thought to myself. Fuck, when I was your age, mate, I was out on my BMX. We had shovels. We were making mounds of dirt. We were fucking laying down on the ground, jumping each other.
That's what I mean. Like we were crushing Coke cans, so it sounded like a motorbike. You know what I mean? Like that's. And I genuinely, I feel like people talk about how younger generations have it easier, or in some ways they do, but in other ways, like I feel bad for them. They're exposed to that. You know, like I got picked on a bit in high school, but up until high school, it was like it never was a thing. Do you know what I mean? Now kids are like they've got social media, you know, and you got little girls like that's a dangerous thing in a 8-10-year-old kid's mind.
It's insane, mate.
And so probably that's the biggest thing I want my kids to just be like when I talk about having kids and I want to have something to share with them. You know what I mean? Like me and my old man like never had anything that in common. You know what I mean? And then my poor mum, single mum, and then obviously got my stepdad a bit later on, but like had to run the business. My 2 uncles and my grandparents. My grandparents had come from housing commission, had no money. Then they got money. Like they spent their whole lives just trying to, and same with my mum and her 2 brothers. They've spent their whole lives just trying to get to a point where they can live. And you know, it's so funny. Like my uncle Boof, like he's a man of very few words, but like he got some old recycled like railway sleepers. But like railway bridge beams, and made like at his house. He's got a few acres. Made like a Mongia, it's called, like it's an Irish term. It's a place in Ireland, and my nan used to call his place that. And so like, and it's funny. I catch him just looking at it in his yard. You know what I mean? Like, and then I think about my granddad. I went up there not too long ago, and he's got like a vineyard. Like he's made of a vineyard, you know, and like you never realise that these people had dreams and aspirations, and that they had to put on a shelf in order to. I think about how what a weapon my granddad would have been at kickboxing if he had the opportunities that I have. You know what I mean? And that's why I want to do that for my kids, to have something to share with them, and then to make them confident in themselves, so that like when those things do happen in life and chip you down, it's okay, because I'm better than that. I'm stronger than that. This is what's meant for me, and my path has been chosen. It's okay. It's going to be all right. You know what I mean? Whereas like a lot of kids don't have that. They don't have that, and then you fall into those things of like drugs and gambling, because you're chasing a bit of a.
Well, with social media, mate, you're always just chasing what other people have.
That's what I mean.
You're not living your own.
When even people, that's not even real.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
My social media is pretty real. I am working in the shed on a 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, but I genuinely enjoy the life I live, and I don't try and project anything. I don't try and be something I'm not. Because you always get found out around the traps, you know?
100%. But, mate, look, really appreciate you coming back, having another chat today. I think it's been fantastic. Lots of bombs dropped. So
yeah, sorry, you'll have to edit those out.
No, mate, it is what it is. This is a real podcast. So, look, if anyone, check Shane Steele out. house raising on Instagram. They do incredible work. Go and check these trusses out. Like, you'll see the videos they've done about it. It's friggin' awesome. I definitely think it's a huge accomplishment, mate, to be doing what you're doing. But look, we want to continue to make this podcast Australia's #1 construction podcast. So like, share, comment, all those types of things. If there is a particular thing you want us to talk about or guests that you want us to get on, then let us know. But yeah, keep listening, and hopefully this one's been a cracker, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelikebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.